welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is Sergio Rodriguez, also known as Serge Ray Rodrigo Serena Lucio. I'm here with Positive House Productions with the Grand Marquis. You may know him from the Rush Hour and the Rush Hour 2.0, as well as some of his other work at WVL Radio, but we'll get into that later. And we're going to be conducting an interview with him about very raw, very uncut. And I think we could just jump right in. You know, you may or may not like some of these things, ladies, gentlemen, or whatever you subscribe to, but this is how we're giving it to you. So, Mr. Grand Marquis, welcome. Would you like to give an introduction for yourself also?
Hey, what's going on, Serge? How you doing, man?
All right, so far.
All right. I'm glad to be back on air, man. It's been some time since I've been on air. And, yeah, I'm doing good, man. Just living life, enjoying the fruits of life right now, man. So, how you been doing, bro?
All right. Managing a group home of some young men with disabilities. Nobody's stuck their finger in their butt and waved it around nobody's nose yet, so I think we're having a good week so far, but it's an interesting job you have when you're not writing. Long story short, ladies and gentlemen, I am a writer. You can find my stuff on Amazon and under Sir, as in Sir Galahad, hyphen, Reina as in Queen, and Lucille. So, Google Roachkind. So, enough with the shameless promotion. All right, Grand Marquis, it's going to be hard not to call you by your government name at the moment, but I'll try to stick with Grand Marquis here. You all know my government name, that'll be Sergio, but it's Serena Lucio, though. So.
Oh, yeah, it's all good. It's all good, man.
Off the cuff, Mr. Grand, Mr. Marquis, how would you, just, I know not from the paper that we're going to be asking the questions from, but how did you get the name Grand Marquis? It, kind of sounds like a cool, big town car from the 70s, but how'd you come about that name?
Oh, man, well, that name, man, kind of came from when I first started in music, man. Like I said, all of this stuff started, man, from just simply, being in music. Music was in the bloodline of my family. Growing up, my brother, he was an engineer, and as a young child, man, I ran around with my brother, man. My brother was kind of like a role model to me, man. He was in the United States Navy, served '05 Desert Storm. So yeah, man, as far as coming up with the name, I don't know, man. I just wanted to use my actual name and put it together with something. Marquis is actually my middle name.
Oh,
okay. So yeah. So I just kind of wanted to put something with it, man, and I came up with Grand. Not actually putting it with, like the car, but I just wanted something like Grand. You know what I'm saying? Just Grand, and Grand kind of stands out, man. So I just been rocking with that ever since.
Yeah, there was between larceny and grand larceny and grand larceny. I got you.
Right on.
Yeah, I've done something similar, and Sergio Raymond Rodriguez, turned into Sergio Ray Rodrigo, and then my other pen name, Serena Lucio. It all kind of rhymed with each other, and won't go too deep into that one, but I think there might be a lot of listeners who are either thinking about their pen name or their pseudonyms or their stage names or whatever, and it'd be interesting, if you listen to this, leave it in the comments on maybe how you got your name or what you're thinking about to make, your name. We can't control what our parents say or what's on our birth certificate, but we can sometimes even just choose our own name, even if we don't, specifically make it on our birth certificate. So,
yeah.
All right. Well, is there anything else you want to add to that before we kind of jump into the first question?
Oh, no, man, not at all, man. Go ahead. Go right ahead. Ask me whatever you need to ask.
Cool. All right, no problem. All right, so this will be completely off the cuff now. No, that was off the cuff before. All right, so we'll start with the first one in chronological order with life changes. What would be some of the life changes for you throughout the Corona period or the COVID pandemic era? And maybe not just your specific subjective life changes, but anything objectively that you've noticed has changed that maybe not have changed for you, Grand Marquis, but things that you've noticed have changed objectively out there in the cosmos.
Well, to answer that question, man, a lot has changed. Mainly for me, man, I learned a lot during this Corona period, is what I call it. Some people might refer to it as the pandemic, but I refer to it as the Corona period. And it actually taught me a lot, man, on who was who. A lot of people that I had, in my circle, for for years, man. You know what I'm saying? Come to find out, a lot of these people wasn't in my best interest, man.
Oh yeah.
So you know what I'm saying? It really revealed a lot of stuff, man. A lot of the phony, a lot of the pretending. You know what I'm saying? It was just a lot of people that I was, networking with, man. So-called friends. You know what I'm saying? That really wasn't in the best interest, man, of some of the things I had going on, man. So it's kind of like some people don't want to see you win, man. You know what I'm saying? The whole time they're like smiling in your face or whatnot when they're around you and stuff like that, man. But at the same time, man, they hoping you fall, man. So those that's the main thing that I learned from this whole pandemic, man, and that pretty much changed the way I move nowadays, man. You know what I'm saying? Change my whole perspective of life, period. Because you know what I'm saying? I mean, it's crazy how phony people can be, man. And I'm at a point in life to where I rarely trust no one, man. I don't trust no one at all. Yeah, just to be honest with you, man, because it's people are like so cutthroat, man, and so like I said, phony and fake, man. So when I come across or encounter people like that, of that magnitude, man, I immediately separate myself away from that kind of crowd of people, man.
Understood there. All right, if you're listening out there and you happen to know the Grand Marquis out here in the non-internet real world, and you're feeling guilty right now, well, maybe you should reevaluate. But if not, it's true. It's true. I think that's something a lot of our viewers here listeners here can relate to. Ultimately, is the pandemic seems to have exposed a lot of truth, not just about politics and religion and science, and just in every facet of life. And I think there's a lot of people who have gotten closer together since the pandemic began. But now that it's been going on for over 2 years, I mean, is it perhaps to the point where even more people who are able to just maybe lie for longer just can't lie anymore? You think that's true, maybe, or just?
I don't know, man. I can't even call that, but.
Alrighty. Well, there's plenty of pandemic listening out there for you all, because this is going to be bigger than the pandemic here. So we'll go on to our next question. And we've got, for your life after broadcasting at WVL radio station, I think for some of our non-Nashville listeners, maybe you just tell us briefly what WVL radio was and how you got involved, and what was some of your life and career during that period and after that period.
Well, man, during that time period at WVOL, man, it all started way back in like 2010, man. I was just a simple music producer then. I was producing music for different, independent artists, man, out in the neighborhoods and stuff like that. And this old guy, man, that I used to work with, he used to listen to WVOL a lot. My parents even used to listen, to it when WVOL was in their prime, man, back in time, man. Earlier times, like maybe the 80s, maybe, or something like that, or the late 80s. But to make a long story short, so this guy, he turns me on to this show called The Open Forum, and the host was T.J. Graham, man. He was a well-known political, controversial talk show host, man. So he had the whole city lit. He had like people mad about all type of topics that he would talk about, from prejudice, racism, you name it, man. He talked about it. So, I found it quite interesting, man. I was just trying to find my way, as a little small town producer, man, and kind of wanted to do something different and evolve, man. So, I think I was listening to one of his shows, man, and shortly after the show, I decided to give a phone call down to the radio station, man. And behold, Mr. Graham, he picked up the phone when I called, and we just kind of like had a brief conversation, man. I introduced myself to him and told him who I was, and told him what I do, and he wanted me to come down and have a personal talk with him, man. And from there, things start, changing, man. I came in and whatnot, man, and he showed me a lot of things as far as like how radio works. Doing his shows, I started to do like what they call parodies for his show, because he had like a lot of funny stuff throughout the show on air. And so, I just started from there. I think first I was doing like production. I would do his intro, some of his intros and some of his outros. And then from the production part, it led to video production. I started doing like a little bit of video production for him, and amongst other things, man. So we developed, man, a really, really, really strong relationship. The relationship, man, was real tight. Things was moving, things was flowing, man, and we just kind of like became, man, best of friends, man. You know what I'm saying? During that process, I was that's when I was introduced to Roderick Heidelberg, which is the son of the father of the radio station. I think John Heidelberg, he's the current owner of the radio station. And so he would come in and out of the studio from time to time when me and TJ would, when TJ would be on air, and he would always speak. He'll kind of sit in for a minute, listen and see what's going on, and he'll speak, and then he was out of there, man. So that took place way before me and Mr. Roderick Heidelberg developed our relationship, man. So that's kind of how I got started, man. And a lot of people didn't even know that I was behind the scenes doing a lot of their production for the open forum.
Yeah, and for the record out there, listeners, if you're going to Google up WVOL, I'm going to say it's the obvious. We haven't said it yet. Mr. John Heidelberg, back in, I think, the late 70s, was the first person to ever employ Oprah Winfrey. She was the first person to just came in, and she was a natural. So that's maybe the biggest name drop we can do for WVOL, of course. So I had to throw that out for it. See, government name, sorry.
Yeah, it's all good, man.
Mr. Grant, Mr. Marquise, I'm going to use my monocle every time I speak your name. So. All right, well, so at that point in time, the question would be more life after broadcasting at WVOL. So at what point in time did it you all, mutually part ways and so on, and what have you been kind of doing afterwards?
Well, let's see, man. After broadcasting, I believe that I was, when I started back in 2010, I recently kind of like resigned from working at VOL, like in, I want to say maybe 2020, maybe between 2019 and 2020.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. And so, I've paid my dues, man. I helped a lot of people. I met a lot of people, and I just thought it was time for me to move forward, man, and break away from that process and create my own thing, which I did. And I did some work for a show that's probably currently still moving. I'm not sure or not. It's been a while since I spoke, with a lot of those people down at the radio station. I think it was the Joe and Kim show. I did a lot of their production, man, as far as for social media, and they had a pretty nice catch, a nice following, man, and like I said, I just got a chance to meet a whole lot of cool people, man. It's a lot of historical things that took place in that radio station, and that particular radio station is the only black-owned radio station in the state of Tennessee. Independent radio station, that is.
Oh, yes.
And so, afterwards, man, I just decided to, just take some time off and, build my own thing, man. So I pretty much now have a radio station inside my home. So,
Oh yeah.
so yeah, it makes it a little, it made it a little bit easier for me to do a lot of things remotely from home instead of
Oh yes.
having to travel back and forth to the radio station for interviews all the time and stuff like that, man. So,
Oh, yes. For the record, too, that does tie into our first question also with the corona period and pandemic. So, yes, Mr. Grand Marquis here is very conscious of the efforts nowadays. So, ultimately, he transitioned to working from home. Is that accurate?
yeah, that's accurate. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. I like it. For the record, too, yes, no, I've never met Mr. Grand Marquis before, ever, before this day. No, he and I have been friends for a long time, so
Oh yeah.
he had me work with him at WVOL before, doing some camera work, setting up some shots, doing some storyboarding, and so on. I was a guest on the Joe and Kim show, too. You can find it in the archives of the radio station. So I would be under Sergio, Serena Lucio, I can't remember what my name was, what I was using there, but, I'll be around. We'll post the links in the
Yeah, you
descriptions and
got
so on. So,
you have more aliases than I do, man. So
well, you got the feds after you like that, it happens. So,
right.
so it's what happens, when you try to stand up for somebody, you put their finger up their butt and wave it up somebody's nose. But yeah, I digress here. That's my day job. So, right. All right, so looks like we'll go on to our next topic, and that'll be will be your past experience as a content producer at 42.3 Bounce TV Network. Now, this one I actually haven't heard too much about, so if you can fill us in a little bit more on that and maybe a little bit about Bounce TV Network.
All right. Well, during my journey, I think that I was still involved with WVOL during that time period. At Bounce Television, I think that they had a ad that they was in need for content producers, and so I decided to respond to the ad. So I ended up getting an email from the at the time the general manager. His name was Orlando Boyd, and so I
Orlando
received
Boyd,
yeah.
quick question, would that be of the famous Boyd family of Boyd, R.H. Boyd Publishing in Nashville, and Omari Boyd, the kickboxer?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, no.
Yeah,
All right, well, we'll
yeah.
get to the Boyd family in the next question. So, no problem.
Yeah. So I got the email and we have a series of television network stations here in Nashville in what they call the Metro Center area. So it's in affiliation with all of the other television stations there. And so long story short, with that, went in for an interview and sit down with Mr. Boyd, and he was a pretty cool, laid back cat. Had a talk. So I was supposed to have been going in as an intern, but it quickly turned into something else because of the resume that I already had of content that I've been producing. So he had a chance to review a lot of the content that I've been doing in other places and for other clients and other people. And so that kind of turned things around, and it turned it around to the point to where he wanted me to start doing a lot of television content for your local commercials, city commercials. They come on TV. They're what they call static commercials. It's just kind of like a 30 to 60 second commercial. You might see a lawyer commercial, or you might see a local car dealer commercial, something like that. So I started doing commercials for a lot of those kind of clients, and I think I was working with another team of people that was there, because there were several content producers there, but everybody had kind of like their own individual agendas. So I was kind of like working alongside a few other people, and Mr. Orlando Boyd, he was really intrigued with my work and how quick, how responsive I was with the work when I was assigned to do the work. And, sometimes, man, when when you're good at something that you do, uh, you start having people that wants to, let me just say, rain on you a little bit, man. You know what I'm saying? People start getting jealous and shit, man.
Yeah, I think there's an old saying. It's like, don't piss on me and tell me it's raining. It's just like, you know what?
Yeah, man, yeah, absolutely. And it was a couple of, well, in particular, one content producer. I think he was still learning a lot as well. When I came through the door, man, and it was a lot of friction, man. I don't know. I don't know if the jealousy was because the quality of my content production was better than this person's, or what it was, man. But it's just kind of like, people kind of envy you, man, when you got a gift. You know what I'm saying? And so, I think I stayed around, man, at Bounce Television for like about, I want to say, close to about a year. I want to say from like maybe 7 to 8 months or something like that. And so eventually I had to part ways from that, man. Because I'm not too. I don't like to really be in those kind of environments, man. You know what I'm saying? Where there's a lot of hostility and there's a lot of envy and hate, man. I just like to, be in an environment to where I can just do my thing, man. And you know what I'm saying? And I'm always happy to see other people, uh, bringing their gifts into fruition, or doing their thing as well, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't talk down or wish bad on nobody, man. You know what I'm saying? And you got a lot of people that's out here like that. So, uh, it was cool, man, and it was a paid job, man. So, came in as an intern, and it quickly turned into, getting to the money, man. You know what I'm saying? Getting paid for the stuff I did for them for that period of time, man. So
I think it's I forgot who told me this when I was much younger. I think I was a teenager. It was like, everybody does have their gifts, and even if it is some people, sometimes their gift is to show other people that they're gifted, and sometimes other people's gifts are to show other people that their gifts are bigger and better than they imagine. And I think when people really haven't found their gift yet, or they don't have maybe the strength or the support or even the intellect to a certain extent to understand what they're gifted with, it can easily turn into fear, and that turns into hate and jealousy, and can turn into a lot of suffering, to be very Star Wars with it.
oh yeah, man. Oh yeah. And it's sad, man, that it's like that, man. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, it is what it is, man. I mean, you got haters out here, man. You got people that just don't want to see you, evolve in life, man. You know what I'm saying? And I don't see how people live with themselves with that kind of hate inside them like that, man. You, yeah, you know what I'm saying? It really don't bother me, man. You know what I'm saying? I just smile and keep it moving, man, because what they don't understand, that it's not on me, it's in me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
So
understand
when the divine creator of the universe puts you on this planet for a certain mission, man, it's no stopping that. So
Oh, yeah. I have one of my best friends of 22 years now, actually. Won't mention him by name, but he's always had a gift, particularly with the ladies. And he said one of the biggest things that he noticed about, especially a lot of men, was the smarter men were like, okay, they're not gifted like that to talk with the ladies, to get dates and get anything else. And then he's like, well, the smarter ones would just hang out with him and hang out with the guys that they were hanging out with, because they were trying to help each other in that in that department. He's like, the haters, he's just like, they're trying to keep them from getting with the women. So let me get this straight. So you can't have what you want or who you want, so you're going to stop me from doing it. Join the club. You might be able to get who or what you want.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, man. It's people out there like that, man. You know what I'm saying? And some people deal with that different ways, man. But you know what I'm saying? I'd rather not be in the room with you, man. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't need that kind of energy, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm all positive vibes over here, man. Everything I do is from a positive aspect. And you know what I'm saying? When it just comes to negative, man, I'm just that ain't me.
Oh, yeah. I mean, negative energy is inevitable to come across it, but I think it does take a certain amount of wisdom and just trial and error and a lot of error when it comes to life to be able to get to that point where we can just kind of always make lemonade out of whatever's coming towards us, and that does take, it can be, kind of like a gift from the beginning. We can always get better at what we're gifted with too.
Oh yeah.
Ultimately, this old saying is just like, just because you got a 10-foot dick doesn't mean you should go into porn. You got that doesn't mean you know how to do anything else with it. But okay, so you got gifted that. And enough with the sex and the dick metaphors. I'll try not to be too sexual with this thing because I'd like this to be a family show, but I don't think we've dropped the F-bomb yet. Oh wait, yeah, there we have now. So yeah, it's officially going to be at least PG-13. So I warned everybody. Beforehand, it's going to be it's supposed to be a little more raw here. So all right. All right, so we're going to get two more at least questions before we kind of open it up maybe to more freelance. And is there anything else you want to talk about with the Bounce TV network, or some of the ways you were able to kind of persevere through some of the wave of dark energy there?
I mean, like I said, man, I just really I went in and did what I had to do, man, and I served my purpose there, man. You know what I'm saying? Like everything that I do, man, I'm only there to serve a purpose, and move on, man. Because a lot of people don't think about this, man, but nothing lasts forever, man. You know what I mean? Nothing lasts forever. So you only got a significant amount of time to do what you got to do. When you enter a place or enter an atmosphere at whatever you're doing in life.
Oh yes, that's for sure. In the words of Hannibal Lecter, the wise philosophical scholar, Google him. It's like, this is all the time you ever have, Clarice. We don't look at time the same way, do we? I think I said that out of order, but it's got a point, You got to be able to analyze, even just kind of stare hard at sometimes the things that we don't want to, and it's just going to take time. We got to be able to grapple with these things. There's so much escapism, so much, don't look over there, look over here kind of thing. And then that's been this way even before the internet, to be fair, but it's just so much easier to just kind of get that way where we don't have to focus on the real things in life, the complicated things, the darker things, in order to get what's good out of there.
Right, right.
It's just, and not focus on it in a way where we're just feeding off the ugliness of it, but we're just grappling with it. It's almost like going to the gym hard kind of deal, get in shape, dieting, that kind of deal. It's hard. It's discipline, but ultimately you're breaking down your muscles. That salad isn't always good. It's ugly tasting sometimes, but we stay consistent with it. We start, to really feed off of that in a very positive way. So
right. Well, referring back to that energy thing, man. It's kind of like this, man. You know what I'm saying? I refer to us black people as indigenous, man. But
yes.
A lot of us indigenous people, man, we just got a problem, man, when it comes to that, man. You know what I'm saying? As far as like envying the next man or envying the next woman, man. I be sitting back watching a lot of shit out here, man, and people just be like really envying other people, man, over nothing, man. Over something that they wearing, or they think they good because they got a new car, or just stupid shit, man. That's just the type of shit that most indigenous people do to each other, man. And
perhaps it's fair to say currently Vladimir Putin is one of the most envious people on the planet. And it's like, you got a bigger, richer country than Ukraine. Why are you pissing off and invading your essentially Russia's ex? That's what I was kind of described one time. I was like, oh yeah, Ukraine's like broke up with Russia like 30 years ago, and now he wants them back, and they're holding siege to this. I'm just like, you know what, Putin, you're just a hater. You just want to see nobody happy. And they're gonna pick on the smallest fish, the smaller fish out there. They're not going for the bigger countries, not yet anyway.
Yeah, and so man, I don't know, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm just hoping that someday. That us as indigenous people will break that cycle, man. You know what I'm saying? Because yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you can't tell from my government names and two pseudonyms actually here, I am Puerto Rican and Mexican, so we do have our indigenous ways about us also here too. And I was raised to believe and understand it to be true that the original people are black people, and that everybody else came from black people, and that is true.
Oh yeah.
And they got these pictures of Adam and Eve, or Neanderthal people and stuff, and they're all white. It's like, huh, yeah, right. Like, get the crayons out of the history book. Get them out of here.
Yeah, man.
So that would bring us to our next question, which is very related to what we just said. Which interesting wording on this one: former networking relationship with the Nation of Islam. I'll say. I think of like Facebook at this point in time, like like Grand Marquis is in a networking relationship with the Nation of Islam. It's like, wow, that sounds complicated. And interesting too, of course. So you could elaborate on that one, please.
Well, I say, man, like, I can't even really remember what year it was, man, but I want to say it was between maybe 2018, maybe somewhere around in there, man. I ran into a guy by the name of his name is Samuel Gray, aka Samuel X, and we kind of had a few conversations and whatnot, man, and he was actually one of the I believe the captains or the ministers. That's what he was. He's was a minister, man, for the Nation of Islam. And so, again, man, my work ethic, man, networking, conversations led to another thing, man. So he invited me to the mosque. They had a local mosque here in Nashville, man. I think it was like near Jefferson Street. Yeah, it was it wasn't nothing major, man. It was just kind of like a little small building, man, and kind of like any other. The Nation of Islam is pretty much like any other organization, man.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So I was invited, and so I came and did a sit down, man, and actually I had to get up and introduce myself and introduce IMGA Forever, the things that I was capable of doing, man, and I really I wasn't expecting that I had to actually come to the mosque and do a speech myself. So yeah, so I got up, man, and I introduced myself to everybody, man, and I'll say this, man, one thing that I really commend those brothers and sisters in the Nation of Islam, man, as far as the concept and the structure of black brotherhood and black sisterhood, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's a structure, man. Complete structure and discipline, man. So that's what I do salute as far as about the Nation of Islam, man. And so he would have these speeches, man, every Sunday, and so he needed like artwork, man, like advertisement for that. Prior to when the Sunday comes around, I think they would usually gather up and go to the mosque around about like 10 o'clock in the morning, man. So prior to those Sundays when they do their speeches, man, I would do a lot of their art cover work.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like flyer cover work, man. Because they were trying to get more people to come here. Come hear the speeches and stuff like that, man. So,
if you've got any digital files of that, we'd love to see it. I'm sure.
Yeah. I most definitely can get you some of that and let you check that out, man. But don't get it twisted. I wasn't a member of the Nation of Islam
I see.
at all. I wasn't a member. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the few thoughts.
I understood.
I had a few thoughts. I had a few thoughts at one time, man. But at the same time, like I was saying earlier, man. It's just like any other organization, man. It's just pretty much is the same as a church organization, except it's on a different spin.
I see.
You know what I mean? And
it words of Jamie Foxx from some of his older stand-up, he's about to do an impression of Louis Farrakhan. He's just like, wait. He's like, any Nation of Islam brothers here? I just gotta ask. If
right.
You're in the back. I mean, don't get mad.
Right.
Don't run deep.
And so
he did his impression. So it's like, okay.
Right, man. So I had plans, man. When I was kind of working with those guys a little bit, man, and we would talk about a lot of things. I was trying to put a project together with these guys, man, and so I could kind of help them expand. They was trying to expand their following and expand the facility that they was in or whatnot, man. But it ended up not working out too well because, like I said, they was up under control of other people. So you got people pretending to be captains, but it's other people pulling the strings. You know what I mean?
I gotcha.
And my only other thing with that, man, is that due to the research and that I've done, man, I believe that it's also kind of a disservice to the original origin of Islam, because it's a difference between the Nation of Islam and the original origin of Islam.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
Malcolm X, when he took his trip to Mecca and so on, he understood a lot of the broader context of Islam in general, as opposed to the Nation of Islam. And
right.
Anybody who doesn't know that story, it's just kind of like, all right, well, it's on HBO Max right now. People look it up. It's
yeah.
So it's like, come on. Read the book and so on, did papers on it, but that's beside the point. But yeah, it's you did your research, and for those of you who don't know too much sometimes about Mr. Grant Marquis here, I've known him for many years, and he's very big on staying, not making a label on something right away, but just analyzing, interpreting, researching, and then eventually you'll develop into a theory. At that point in time, and don't be afraid to have it be fluid and to change too. I think that's one of the things I've always gathered from Mr. Grant Marquis here. Correct me if I'm wrong, but just like you're tactical is what maybe the single word I can describe it. Perhaps.
Well, yeah, man. I mean, it's kind of like, man, no disrespect to the people who believe in what they believe in, but at the same time, man. You have all of these religious groups, and it's only one divine creator of the universe. But all of these different religious groups, man, they got their gods, they got their whatever they got, but it's only one that created all. So that's the program. That's the program that I stick with. I don't follow the religion, man. You know what I'm saying? Because I believe in the Creator.
Yes.
They created all.
The Creator, the shaper of form, the forces and events that shape all things. There's many kind of beautiful ways I think we can shape it, and I think in some weird way, like when people just use the term God or gods, it's simplistic in some ways. It's become like a meme. Like, I'm in a video game, I'm in God mode.
Right, and with that being said, man, that's like idolatry, man. They like idol gods, man. You know what I'm saying? And I just don't buy into that, man. You know what I'm saying? I got a little bit more logical sense. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, as far as like the concept of how the organization is ran, man, and like I said, the structure, man, I think that's a good deal, man, for people who want to better themselves. You know what I'm saying? Because they have done a lot of things, man. They've reformed, a lot of men and women, that's, been in prison and stuff like that, man. And I think that's a good thing, man, as far as like the structure. But as far as the religious part of it, man, you know what I'm saying? I'm not really on that, man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's a friend of mine too. He has been writing a book for the past few years, and he does have a character in there that used to be called Plain Mike, I think, and because there was so many Mikes in his book. So like the Plain Mike comes back at a wedding, and he's the Honorable Malik Shabazz,
Right.
and like he's like super changed, and like there's nobody there kind of gets it. He's not a bad guy. He's not this incredibly like perfect guy either, though. He's just nobody kind of gets him. He comes back to the hometown, and I'm part of the South and so on. And it's a pretty good book. I'll tell you the name of a friend of mine. His name is his government name is Zerubbabel West Lewis. Grand Marquis, you met him through Zoom. So yeah, I'm going to try to name drop as many other books as we can here, but I was joking with him a little bit. I said, this is something that in the Hispanic community we don't get much of. It's just like
right.
not too many people are, becoming, Catholic, because most Hispanics we tend to be Catholic, and then all of a sudden we show up at a wedding or a funeral and we're Muslim or something.
Right.
Maybe atheism, maybe that's about it, because they're trying to do their famous Che Guevara impression. But it's something I think is particularly unique that we need to talk about even more, because at the end of the day, there's people who still will ostracize even Malcolm X himself, which we know so much more about him in the general consciousness from the past 30 to 35 years. And yet still, it's always just, MLK, and there was a lot of other people around that time and still are that have a lot of profound things and lessons to teach. And even had they lived longer, they would have even learned even more. Amazing how much more, because a lot of these men from back in the 60s and so on could still be alive right now.
Right.
And, Carl Thymus, a.k.a. Chaos. My apologies, Mr. Chaos, for using your other name. But he was in the civil rights movement in the 60s in Nashville, and he does poetry around there in Nashville. And he talks about that a lot, on how just how much has changed since then. And, me and Grand Marquis here, of course, met in Nashville. So, it's very tied to us at this moment. So we might be mentioning that a lot here. So.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's just a lot to think about, man. How many indigenous people that speak Arabic language, man? You know what I'm saying? So those that do, it's good to learn any type of language. I mean, you could easily learn like any sort of language, but most of the ones who do speak fluent Arabic language are the ones that woke up and actually converted over to the real true origin of Islam.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? So like I said, I used to be in the mosque, and the Quran, it's actually kind of like a resemblance of the Bible, man, because it has a lot of things that's quoted from the Bible in the Quran as well, and then you got one side that's Arabic, and then you have the other side that's English, man. So. But I mean, it's a good learning tool as well. Like I said, if for those who would like to learn the Arabic language, man. But most people, most people can't speak Arabic language, man, unless they actually know it, man. So that's another thing too.
Grew up in a country where it was the status quo language of Egypt, for example. My friend Todd out there in Sabra, and I worked with like 99% Egyptians at that point in time, and in Arabic they always say it's an easy language, but they said it's not as widely spoken anymore. They're always like Mandarin Chinese, English, and Spanish, and so on. Those are the languages. Those are the languages of money, as Trevor Noah used to say. With the top trillionaires out there, what languages are they speaking? So that's the one that people want to speak, is what rich people are speaking. So. Right.
So like the most thing that I do like about the true origin of Islam, man, is like I said, they're really disciplined, man, and they take that serious, man. So what I'm saying, it's a big difference between the natural origin of Islam and then the Nation of Islam. Yeah, you see what I'm saying? So,
yes.
But other than that though, man, they was pretty cool people, man, and I didn't really have no bad vibes or anything with anyone as far as within the organization is concerned. But like I said, it's just set up just like everything else is here in America, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
Jewish friend that was big on never wanted me or anybody to use the term Judeo-Christian. And I said, okay, fine. And I pulled one out of my butt and I said, how about Neo-Abrahamic? They're like, okay, that's fine, because that would include Islam. And I'm thinking, like, okay, I don't think she's going to be fond of me comparing, Jew, Christian, and Muslim. And there's some Muslims out there like, no, that's not us. And it's just like, well, I don't know. I mean, the Prophet Abraham, or Ibrahim, or however you want to pronounce him, and they had Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob in these three holy books. And
right.
A lot of atheist people. I used to be involved in the atheist community, and maybe perhaps a similar way you were in a networking relationship with Nation of Islam, and it was just real big on just kind of lumping all religion in together. It's like there's us who believe in logic, reason, and science, and then there's them over there who believe in all this nonsense. And at that point in time, I didn't grow. I didn't grow enough at all. I didn't really learn anything other than just these are a lot of very hurt people inside who to me were being used just as much as they were when they were Muslim or Christian or Jew, because they were mostly Christians, let's be real.
Right.
They were mostly former evangelical Christians. And, ultimately, it was no offense to them. It did take me to get over some bitterness after the initial parting of ways, but I had to understand that, I had grown bigger, a little bit bigger of perception than what they were doing in this secular atheist community, which actually was in Nashville also. And for those of you who are not in Nashville listening right now, Nashville is more than just hippie music people in East Nashville and the Ku Klux Klan. And it's been that way for decades, for well before. But I feel like you almost have to kind of live there, or at least have business there, to understand how diverse it really is, and not just religious-wise or race-wise, but just in every way. So,
right. Yeah. Yeah, but
All right. I think I'll go to the second to last question here. Would be this is probably the biggest one, because I'm helped to make this documentary here, the untold story of Omari Boyd. Did you tell the audience out there, because I already know, you got involved with Omari Boyd, who he is, what's with the documentary, and where's it going? So
well, I just cover a little bit on the progress of the documentary at this point. As far as the documentary is concerned, the documentary itself is actually on hold. The soundtrack, I've been in the studio, still kind of working on the soundtrack for the documentary. And I just made a decision to put the documentary on hold, because I can put it out anytime I feel like it. But I just want for this to be my first film ever. I just want it to be complete. But I spoke with Omari, like, I think this past Thanksgiving, and Omari, he's been spending a lot of time with his family and stuff like that, since he hasn't really been traveling and fighting because of this world pandemic thing, man. So that slowed the documentary down a lot, as far as like continuing to move forward. So we're still right now continuing to touch bases with each other on and off every once in a while, just to kind of get a vision on what's the next step. Also, a lot of people that started with us, and some of them on this documentary, man, they eventually fell off. But you know what? It's like the people you start with, man, 9 times out of 10 you don't finish with them.
Yeah, that's true.
It's because they don't see the same thing you see. They don't have the same vision. Most people in the beginning, they sticking around to try to see what they can get out of it. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people are not willing to put in 100% of the effort like you are. But they don't. A lot of people don't realize how beneficial it'll be once it's complete either. So when the benefit package come after everything is all said and done, the gates are gonna be locked. And you know what I'm saying? It is what it is, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I said in the beginning, towards the beginning of this interview, most people don't have your interest in mind, man. They just hanging around just to see what's in it for them, or hanging around just because the buzz is going right now. For people just hanging around for different reasons, man. But they don't have your best interest in mind. So uh, I was expecting that, and I ain't gonna say no names because if they listening, they know exactly who they are. You know what I'm saying? I could put them on blast, but you know what I'm saying? I got more class than that, man. So,
Yeah, no,
but,
no,
but
they some might take exception and give us a reminder, but no, that's just
yeah, man. But
no.
it just comes with it, man. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, when you doing something and you evolving and you trying to elevate, man, a lot of people ain't got the same vision you got, man. So they ain't got no patience to stick around or no no the work ethic is sorry, man. You know what I'm saying? So uh that's it's a number of things that has taken place since the pandemic came into play, but uh the film still moves on, man, regardless of if they fell off or not. And at this point right now, uh I'm seeking like some really professional, good people, man, to continue the legacy of this film, man. So that's coming soon too. So I just got to replace these old people with some people, real people, man. You know what I'm saying? Some real people that's about the business. And it's a good thing that they fell off too, man, because it just shows me, you know what I'm saying? I had some weak links, within my circle, man. So it's always a good thing to find, when people do things like that. And on top of that, I don't even talk to these people anymore. I don't even really, talk to them on the phone or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you don't hear nothing from them, after they, I guess, do what they do. But it's all good, man. I'll see you at the end of the rainbow.
Oh yeah, the greatest stories will always return to their original form, and they will always rise to the top. Is something author Neil Gaiman wrote in his Sandman series, and I do believe that's true. It's no matter. It's almost kind of like it doesn't matter who is behind the story in some ways, as long as we have one, maybe two or three key people pushing it all the way along.
Right.
You're always going to have the leaves that fall off the tree.
Oh yeah.
Every season. So and I think that's every story in a weird way. It's just ultimately, those of you might have been listening and figured it out by now. I've was the co-executive producer of the Untold Story of Omari Boyd.
Right.
I did the storyboarding, the photography, and so on, and did the principal interviews and so on. We got about 90% of that actually in, and then two things happened. I moved to Arizona from Nashville, and B, that literally the pandemic started a month later, and then
right.
Omari Boyd, as Grand Marquis mentioned, has been kind of grounded, spending time with his family. He just had a new baby and everything.
Oh
anyway,
yeah.
So I don't blame him. So.
Yeah, you gotta respect it, man. You know what I'm saying, and me and Omari, man. It's just it's just a good feeling, man, of what kind of relationship we establish with each other, man. You know what I'm saying? As far as like working on this particular project, shouts out to Omari, man, like for real.
Oh yeah. I can admit, since the past 2 years, it's been difficult. I've gone through shitty minimum wage job to finally something better, but and so on. And it's very difficult. The vast majority of people who are artists, whether they're movie makers or musicians or comic book drawers or whatever, they do this in their quote unquote spare time. As Grand Marquis, I like you use the term secondary. Like, well, I got to go to secondary.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Your day job.
Yeah. I say, I use that, man, because I mean, you got to make a living, man. But at the same time, man, when you got goals in life, man, you make that primary. You make your goals or what you're trying to do, man, in life. Make that primary, man. And I consider like, because at the end of the day, man, working for somebody else it can be a pain in the ass, man. you know what I'm saying? So
it almost always is.
yeah, man. So you know what I'm saying? That's why I stay on the grind 24/7, man. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not, I'm my own boss, man. You know what I'm saying? I like to call it like I like to call it, and make the kind of moves I like to make, man, without having to, answer to some dumb shit or whatever the case may be.
Oh yeah, and I think one of the interesting things too is we had a colleague that was helping us too a lot. Is Monique Gooch. She's got some authors. She got some books out too. If you just Amazon up Monique Gooch, and she was helping us a lot in the beginning, and she ended up getting a job actually at Omari Boyd's cousin's publishing company, R.H. Boyd Publishing, Miss LaDonna Boyd, which she's anyway.
Oh yeah, well, that's what I was talking about, man. That I actually helped Monique get that job. You know what I'm saying? Because she came to me and asked me, could I talk to Omari about that, man? And so I figured like, okay, you were part of this project, so I'll do a favor for a favor. And
the interesting thing is that's I think the most clear example at the moment is the untold story of Omari Boyd. For Monique, it's irreconceivably changed her life. For the foreseeable future, she might actually. I mean, this is a job. She's told me before, like she can stay at this job and work at this job for maybe a career the rest of her life, kind of deal.
Right.
And I was like, good. That's something I don't have, even though I like my profession, my day job, my secondary more now. But ultimately, that's something I think maybe 85-90% of people, especially Americans, can't stand their secondary at all.
Right.
That's all they got.
Right. Man, that's what I meant when I was saying earlier, man. Like, that's how I change people's lives, man. You know what I'm saying? But just by simply, just looking out for other people, man, when opportunity presents itself, man. So if you within my circle at that time, and it's an opportunity that's beneficial for you, man, then I'll swing that your way, man. And a lot of people won't do that. You know what I'm saying?
I mentioned sometimes, it may be not their sole gift, but a secondary gift might be in helping other people discover and understand their gifts. And
right.
I think that's something that, we don't just got to be gifted with one thing. We'll have our ace, of our gifts, but we can have other things. And I think that could be something, maybe one of yours, Grand Marquis, is just being able to kind of, in the words of Charles Xavier, you have identified somebody as a mutant and you help them understand their gifts.
Right. Yeah.
Cerebral wheeling around or something.
So that's what I was saying, man. I've helped a lot of people, man, out here, man. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing really to brag about, man. But you know what I'm saying? That's why, like, at the end of the day, if I've helped somebody move to the next level or the next chapter of their life, man, my job is done, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's on to the next, man, and to the next, man. So, I think that's what I was put here on this planet for, man, is to help people, man. And
yeah. Oh yeah, so sticking with the positive vibes too. Do you ever notice it's more common for people to be like, you know what, man, I did some bad things to people. I spent time in prison. I've been a bad dad or whatever, a bad husband. And then people are, oh man, that's really brave of you to admit that. We admire you for your courage. Somebody comes in, I made so and so, I helped so and so get that job. I hooked those two up.
Right.
They're like, man,
yeah, man. Yeah.
Doesn't go both ways,
Yeah, absolutely, man. I know where you're coming from on that, man. It's a lot of people that do that. They like to, they want accolades and they want validation for what they did for somebody, man. And that ain't me, man. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, I'm put here for a purpose, man. And you know what I'm saying? Once my purpose is fulfilled on this planet, man, then it'll be time for me to return back to the Creator.
Oh yeah, and there was one more point I wanted to bring up about Omari Boyd, and maybe this is mild spoiler for the documentary, but I think it's one of the most fascinating things about him. He pays his own way to go to like Sweden and like Brazil to fight, to be a kickboxer, and he works during the day as civic engineer.
Yeah.
And he's a dad of 3 kids now. I bet you coming up 4. That's just my prediction. and he just, he has a lot of energy and so on. He's, man, I wish I had that much energy. I'm like asleep by 9 o'clock. And he still gets up at the crack of dawn and trains and so on. And the civic engineer is like his secondary. And his primary, I'd say, maybe neck and neck between kickboxing and his family. And that's how it should be. And then ultimately, that's one of those things. He's he's an independent artist.
Yeah.
Many people may not look at a fighter, a kickboxer, or an MMA person as an independent artist that does this when they're not at their secondary, their day job.
Right.
But he is that person, and as a fighter, and that's very, very inspiring. I remember I was just like, man, every time I'm about to just knock out after a secondary job, get up, stay up, write some more. I only have 3 novels out. That's nothing. I'm 37. I should have like 7. And then people's like, don't worship the grind. Don't worship the grind. I was like, you know what? If your day job sucks that much, a grind in your time off, because it won't feel like work. It'll feel like you're eating a good meal, getting laid really well or something. Just something primitive in some ways, but that's to me how much your primary artistic gift job can feel when you're not working at your shitty secondary day job for a minuscule amount of money for way too much work with assholes with negative vibes. all this shit we've been talking about for the past hour or so.
Oh yeah.
So that leads us into our last kind of bullet point here, and I think we've done some good kind of like tangents here that have really worked well back into a lot of the overall theme here, and that'd be future plans for the IMGA Forever. Our gift, your vision, established 2K13, so 2013. So what are our visions and plans and our premonitions and dreams of the future here?
Well, as of now, man, I'm looking to take this thing in a whole nother direction, man. Like I said, I'm just gonna pretty much, man, use this to help a lot of other people, man, along the way. Maybe in the future, man, looking to start a foundation, man. And just a lot of things, man. Just it's a lot of things that's in the play right now. I can't really disclose a lot of it, man. But I just want to, just looking to do some different things, man, to, because like I said, the world is tremendously changed, man. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of the stuff that I was doing with the company at first, man, can't no longer do that, man. So I had to switch up the game plan. But so far, so good, man. So, I just had to minimize a lot of stuff and, surround myself with great people, man, continuously, man, and just continue to move forward, man, and see what comes my way. You know what I'm saying? Because, like I said, the creator's in the driver's seat of this whole thing, man, so it's really not my call. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, man, I'm just looking to organize, man, maybe a foundation or something like that, man, in regards to the youth. And do a lot of other things, man, with this program, man. So to help other people and stuff like that. That's just mainly what I'm using this for right now. And to actually teach as well, man.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm kind of like a newfound researcher now, man.
Yeah. I think you were just on this academia, we call it. You went on sabbatical for a while, but now you're back and you have this newfound, drive and, just from a different angle. It's still, the drive's never left, but it's just from like a different slant on it. And that's when usually academic scholars, they prolong their careers, by who knows how much, and the academics is so competitive now. I'm trying to get back into it by the end of the year, but I'm like, oh man, I've learned so much about the real fucking world. I don't know if I can go back into the ivory tower with the professors.
Right.
The tenure and stuff like that. I'm like, but I have a dream, and no, not that kind of. I don't have a dream, but like just literally things I've been wanting my whole life from people that I've lost, and we need education. And, the world says I need another piece of paper to do that. That'd be a master's, and I'm gonna go that route. And
that's what's up.
It's gonna be interesting, but that's gonna be the biggest thing is being able to balance a lot of this. For Mark Boyd, man, if he can have the civic engineer and his 4 kids, or was it 3 kids? No, 3 maybe going on 4, and
right.
Be the 7th, 8th ranked kickboxer in the world, and he can kind of spin these plates this way, and it's inspiring, and part of it's just being naturally blessed with good health, physically, mentally, emotionally, a good circle, and I'll admit people like me didn't always have the best of that, but it doesn't have to stop me. It just means it's just going to happen in a slower rate. But,
Yeah.
you know, time, it can be very subjective, as we talked about, with the creator or the forces and events that shape all
Oh
things.
yeah, man. Yeah, it's all about being master of self, man. You know what I'm saying? And that's and a lot of that is what I did, man, during this whole ordeal. You know, being away from the mic, and you know what I'm saying, just worked on self, man. And I think at this point in life, man, I'm better than I ever been, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, got rid of a lot of, you know, things that wasn't needed in my life, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, it was a lot of, like I was saying, you know, a lot of people that was in my circle, man, was actually detrimental to me, man.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
and
I had to get rid of all that trash, man. And you know what I'm saying?
if anybody out there listening right now, I know you all relate, but if you got one person who can't relate to having people in your circle that just ain't right for you and are right for the circle, I'm sorry, check your circles, because I think you're just in escapism and you don't want to see it. It's just one of those things, man. It just live long enough, you know, have enough, broaden your circles, and eventually you realize, you know, they need to be smaller, you know.
Oh,
In
yeah.
a weird way, that's kind of it, and they need to be smaller and just kind of rely on other people who have their circles who are bigger. You know, we all know those professional networking kind of people that they ain't got two friends to get together with, but man, they got a trillion followers and a trillion people that they know and know them, and that's not the kind of guy, you know, Grand Marquis is here and never has been since the moment I met him, and to this day, and I'm glad he asked me to do this interview, because ultimately that, I think, does keep a lot of the gifts and creativity alive in us, and it could be that one more moment we need during our secondary job, and you know, just think on, you know, what you're listening to here, what we're both, you know, sharing with each other, and I think that'll be it.
Oh yeah.
For the moment, Grand Marquis, I keep trying to call you the F word, which is your government name.
Yeah.
I'm done with my weed drink at the moment too, so.
Yeah, so you know, this just the beginning, man. You know, there will be a part 2 of the confession coming soon, man, and later on down the road, man, we'll be having like some special guests included, and you know,
Definitely.
yeah. So just stay tuned, man, for for more things to come. That's all I can say at this point.
Perfect. All right. I think that is a profound note to end on here. And if you want to, you know, just take it away and say that be all. If you got any last few sentences for the audience out there who's, you know, eagerly awaiting the sequel here.
Oh man, I'm good, man. I just I'm just glad to be alive right now, man, and I appreciate you, Sergio Rodriguez,
Thank you.
for this interview, man, and yeah, we here.